Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing another coaster fight. This is between Manta at SeaWorld Orlando versus Superman Ultimate Flight at Six Flags Over Georgia. I am comparing both these coasters in a series of categories, and there will be a winner towards the end. Let's get started. First up, we have the height category. Manta is getting a 4 out of 10 for being 140 feet tall, and Superman's getting a 3 for being 106 feet tall. Not very tall rides, but I mean, if you walk by Manta, for instance, this thing is like in your face. It looks gargantuan. Superman kind of looks a little taller because it has like the terrain and stuff. But I mean, they're both not very tall rides, so they're not getting the highest scores. Let's move on to the drop category, and the drop's kind of the same. They kind of both bank to the right a little bit. Like they both curve to the right. Now, the only advantage with Manta is that Manta is a little more aggressive than Superman is. Well, I shouldn't say a little. Manta's a lot more aggressive than Superman is. Yeah, so like, if you're in the back row on Manta, you will just get whipped through this drop. It is crazy. Superman's drop is just a little more graceful, but the whole ride is graceful. But we'll get to that later. So yeah, Manta's getting a 7 and Superman's getting a 6 for the drop category. Let's move on to the speed category, and Manta's getting a 5 out of 10. So is Superman. Manta hits a top speed about 56 miles per hour, and Superman's top speed is 51 miles per hour. Not very fast rides, but they're not about the speed. They're more about the flying experience, and it achieves that. So they don't need to be super fast rides. Flying coasters aren't usually the fastest roller coasters out there. Let's move on to the layout, and this is what I love about Manta. I love Manta's layout. It's getting a 10 easily. Manta's layout is flawless. And for a flying coaster, it is just amazing. Like literally, like it's just like the layout is very well executed. Like all the inversions are very well executed, and just the layout is just amazing. Superman's getting a 7. Superman has a good layout too, but the only problem is that it's just a little it's a lot more graceful than Manta is. So yeah, let's move on to the smoothness category. And Manta is getting a 9, so is Superman. They are both very smooth roller coasters. I found Superman just to be a tad smoother, but I mean, they're both very smooth. Manta was slightly shaky. Excuse me for saying so many slightlys. I'll stop saying that. But yeah. Manta just had a slight rattle. It was slightly shaky. So I'm giving it a 9. But I mean, it's getting older, so I shouldn't be really giving it that hard of a time. It did open in 2009. I can actually remember when it was being built, and it looked perfectly smooth. And Superman's getting a 9. Superman had a slight rattle too, but Superman's older than Manta, so I shouldn't be giving it a hard time either. But yeah, let's move on to our next category, which is transitions, and both are getting a 10 for transitions. They both transition very well. No jerkiness whatsoever. Let's move on to the elements category, and like I said earlier, I love Manta's layout. Manta's easily getting a 10 for the elements category. Manta's layouts are perfect. Manta's elements are perfect, my bad. First off, that pretzel loop is just ridiculous. It is crazy intense. Probably one of the most intense coaster inversions I've ever experienced. Gray out guaranteed. And then Superman's getting a 7. Superman has some pretty good elements as well, but I wouldn't say they're as strong as Manta's elements. I mean, Manta is a lot larger. It's like Superman on steroids. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, Manta's elements are amazing. I also love the corkscrews it has and the twists as well. Same with Superman's, but just not as good. Let's move on to intensity category, and this is what I was saying about Manta earlier. Manta is a very intense roller coaster, especially during that pretzel loop. That pretzel loop is insane. It is if you're in a back row during that pretzel loop, it just feels like there's an elephant sitting on you. It is that intense. It does pull 3.7 Gs, but it feels a lot more than that just because you're on your back during that pretzel loop. It is crazy. I am giving it a 9. The only thing that would make it a 10 is for instance, if the twists were a little more aggressive. But I mean, Manta kind of achieves of being a little bit of a graceful ride. If you're in the front, it's really the back row where it's just insane. So yeah, Manta's getting a 9. Superman's getting a 7. Superman does have some intense moments, like the pretzel loop I admit is pretty intense. But that's really about it for Superman. Superman's like the other elements of Superman just aren't very intense at all. It's kind of forceless, which was something I was very disappointed about Superman. But I mean, I shouldn't be giving it a hard time because I think it's meant to be more graceful than intense like Manta. Let's move on to duration, and Manta's duration is 2 minutes 36 seconds. That is a pretty long ride, so I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And Superman's getting a 5 out of 10. The duration hasn't been released for Superman, but I'd assume it's around like a minute 20 or so. That's what I think. That's just my estimate. So I'm going to give it a 5. It's about average. So let's move on to the pacing category. And Manta's getting an 8. Now, Manta's pacing is kind of bipolar sometimes. There are some rides I've had on Manta where that second half is just crazy. And there's some rides where it's just kind of like, eh. So yeah, sometimes Manta's a little bipolar towards the second half. But the first half is just fantastic. So yeah, Manta's getting an 8 out of 10. And Superman's getting a 7. Superman is a lot more graceful than Manta is. Like, flying coasters aren't meant to be the most intense. They just end up being the most intense, like some of the most intense coasters just because you're on your stomach. And Manta is just getting a 7 just because it's just a lot more graceful than Manta is, like I keep saying. So let's move on to the theming category, and Manta is getting a 10. Manta's theming is spot on. I love like all the waterfalls, I love how it interacts with the water, and just the queue line is really well themed, very detailed. I love the stingrays inside, and the station could be better, but I mean, it's theming, so it's getting a 10. SeaWorld does some fantastic themed rides, and this is no exception. Superman's getting a 2 out of 10. Superman really doesn't have any theming. It might have some like cardboard cutouts like out in the queue line and stuff, but that's about it. So it's getting a 2 out of 10. Let's move on to the restraints, and the restraints are basically the same. It's like your vest style restraint, and then those legs, like the shins that secure, like the restraints that secure your shins. Like I don't know how to pronounce it. And then so they're basically the same restraints. So I'm gonna give both of them a 5 out of 10. Next up is our last category, which is the setting. Manta's getting an 8. Manta's setting is pretty good. What I really love about Manta's setting is towards like the back half of the ride, where it goes over water and stuff. That's what I like about it. The first half of setting's alright. I like how you do go over pathways. That is one thing I love about Manta. Superman's getting a 4. Superman's setting is alright. It's not that great. I mean, I'm not really like too impressed of it's on a field. Like when a coaster's on a field, it's not the best setting out there. It's just kind of bland. I'll admit, I do like a one part of Superman where you go through a tunnel. I like that. Or that's the only Superman clone that goes through a tunnel. So I'll give Superman some advantage. But I mean, Manta's setting is just a lot better. Manta just makes you feel like you're flying more than Superman does. So that is the end of this coaster fight, and we do have a winner on our hands. Taking the spot as our winner is going to Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. Congratulations, you have defeated Superman Ultimate Flight. I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with me that Manta is the better coaster, and I do think Manta is the better coaster. Manta is currently my favorite flying coaster I have ridden, and it'll stay that way for a long time, saying I've yet to ride Tatsu at Six Flags Magic Mountain. But I mean, Manta just really makes you feel like you're flying. It is just fan-freaking-tastic. So that will end this coaster fight. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment down below which one do you prefer. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and more coaster fights in the future. Also, don't forget to check out social media link, which will be in the description below. I will see you guys next time. Have a theme-tacular day.